Hello and welcome to this tutorial where we're going to be trying to learn how to write scripts in shell or bash. So in this class we're going to try to write a script called script.sh that takes a parameter and validates whether this parameter is a file or not. After that, after finishing this task, then we're going to try to enhance the script to take as an input multiple arguments or parameters and validate each parameter to be a file. Let's get started. So first, let's create our script. So I'm going to call it script.sh, and here it has been created, as you can see, but we cannot execute it. So let's add that. So we do chmod, and we're going to add execution right to the script. script.sh. And now if you can see, the X has been added everywhere so everybody can execute this file. Let's open this scripts. So you start by writing this line. So you say basically I'm gonna use bash under bin, and I'm gonna explain to you this in a second. So basically here in my terminal, if you can see, I'm using ZSH, but in my script here I want to use bash as my shell. So I can change here between ZSH and between bash just using this, like I do bin and bash, and then my terminal is going to change and it's going to be, as you can see, it has been changed and now it's bash. But I do like to work with ZSH because it gives me more information and it's pretty in my eyes. So I'm just gonna change it. So I'm gonna say bin ZSH, and I'm gonna be using here ZSH, but for the scripts it's mandatory. If you wanna write with bash, true, say which bash are you using. So this line is the first line to write. Then the first thing that we need to do is, because we want to write basically a script that executes like this, scripts.sh, and takes a parameter here. So we want to validate that at least there is one parameter, and in order to do that we're going to do an if, and we're going to say the number of parameters. So this is how we say number of parameters. So how many parameters we are given. In this case it's 1, in this case it's 2. If nothing, it's going to be 0. So we're going to say if the number of parameters is equal to 0, and then this is how we close the if, and here we're going to say echo at least one argument is required. And after that we're gonna close the execution by doing exit. So once, if we have nothing, basically it's gonna go here, it's gonna go inside the if, and then it's gonna exit and nothing continues. So everything is written after this line is not gonna be executed. So let's try it. So if I execute with no parameters here, it's gonna say at least one parameter is required. Second thing is we wanna take the parameter as an input, and I'm gonna store it in a variable. So I'm gonna call it file name, and it's gonna take the first parameter 1. So this is how we say the first parameter. So here it's gonna, if I say for example file.txt, file name right now $1 is gonna take this value. So let's verify that. So let's say echo or print file name, and let's see what's gonna do. We have one parameter, so this is not taken in consideration. We're going to go to this line, we're going to create a variable, and then display it here, and it says this is the value, which is basically the first parameter. So after that, we need to verify if this is a file or not. So we do if. So I'm gonna write the condition in a second, and else and v. So we need to verify if this is an existing file. If it is an existing file, we're gonna say here echo, and we're gonna write basically file name is a file. Otherwise, we're gonna say is not a name. File name is not a name. So the last thing that we need to do is just verify if this is a file or not. And in order to do that, this is how we verify in shell. In bash, we just say if it is -f for file, and we say $, the variable file name. So basically what are we doing? We're taking the first parameter, we're storing it in a variable, and then here we are verifying if file name is a file with this condition. If it is a file, then we're gonna display that this file is indeed a file. Otherwise, it's gonna say this file is not a file. And let's try to verify that. So let's display what we have in our folder. We have only script.sh, so nothing in our folder. So if I execute it, script.sh, and I'm gonna give it file.txt, which doesn't exist, it should tell me file.txt is not a file. So let's try right now to create indeed this file, file.txt. So as you can see, this file existing right now. So let's try to run the scripts another time and see. And now it says file.txt is indeed a file. So right now we have been able to answer to this requirement. Second task is to enhance the scripts and to take multiple parameters and validate each parameter to be a file. In order to answer to that, in here, instead of taking the first parameter, we need to take the list of parameters passed to the script. So that we do it with arrobas like this, and we're not gonna have file name, we're gonna have basically files, like the list of file names. So for now, let's just like echo parameters that we get just to make sure that it is working. And I'm gonna comment all these lines. So basically right now we are verifying if we have at least, if we don't have any parameters, we're gonna display this and exit. Otherwise, we're gonna take this and store it in a variables, and this basically needs to be indicating the parameters passed here to our script. So let's try it. So it displays file.txt, but if we have more, like file2.txt, it's gonna display them both, and etc. Like if we have more, it should all of them, they need to be stored in files. So right now we have all the files stored in this, and we need to look on each file and do the verification. So that is done with the loop. So we're gonna do for, and we can say file in. So this is how we write loops in Bash. So we are looping into the string of files. So let's do that instead, it's more visible. And each time we're gonna have a variable file, and we need to make the verification whether it's a file or not. So these lines, they're gonna be useful in here instead of writing them again. And we need to change the verification. We don't have any more file name, we have file. So let's change it everywhere. And I think we are done. So let's verify our script. So we have files stored here. We don't need to display it. No need to display here. And we need to look into the files. Each time we have a file, we need to verify whether this file is indeed a file or not. If it is, we're gonna display the results. So let's try that. So it's gonna say file.txt is a file, and all the rest are not files, as you can see, because we only have one file. So I hope this tutorial or this class was helpful and you learned something today. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and see you in the next video. Bye bye.